Well, with that, let me tell you a story from India. This is a personal story also. It's a story that I call The Power of Love. Now, I love to travel, and in 1988, 89, I was going around the south of India, going to temples and ashrams and doing my spiritual thing, getting my spiritual groove on, okay? So some friends of mine showed up at a town called Pondicherry. We went to go visit this place called the Sri Aurobindo Ashram. Now, we arrived in the bus station. My two friends went directly to the main ashram hotel, the Park Guest House. I told them I'd meet them there a little later. I wasn't concerned about getting a room. It was the hot season in the south of India, 120 degrees in the shade. The guidebook said, India, a travel survival guide. If you're going to India at this time of year in the south of India, you ain't got to worry about making no reservation. Nobody in their right mind is there except me and my friends. So, after about an hour or so of roaming around the town, I go to the hotel. As I'm walking up the steps to the hotel lobby, I noticed that this elderly Indian woman gave me a real dirty look. And then she said something to the man who was sitting behind the desk. I walk up to this gentleman. He says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yes, I'd like a room." "We don't have any rooms." Keys all over the board, up, down, and sideways. I mean, just keys falling on the floor. I said, "Well, did so-and-so and so-and-so check in, asking about my two friends who just happen to be white?" He looks and says, "Well, yes, they did." Now, I'm picking up on something. Duh. But I don't want to believe what I'm picking up on because I'm at an ashram, a spiritual place. But I maintain my spiritual equanimity. I said, "When will some rooms become available?" "Maybe in a couple of days." I go check into another hotel. The next morning, I'm having breakfast with my friends in this hotel restaurant. Only place in town with whole wheat toast. I'm a whole wheat toast kind of guy. We're having breakfast, and I see a guy that I know who had checked into the hotel after I'd been by there the previous evening. Because I had seen him at dinner, and he said he was going to go check into the hotel, and I said, "Well, they don't have any rooms." He looked at me like I had lost my mind. And I maintained a positive attitude. Some rooms must have suddenly become available. I go to the lobby. There that woman is, the one who'd given me the dirty look. There she is, checking some people in. Now I'm standing off to the side, waiting for her to take care of business. She looks at me and says, "What do you want?" with attitude. I said, "Well, I came to see if you had some rooms available." "No, we don't have any rooms, and this isn't just some hotel. This is for people who are coming for the Sri Aurobindo Ashram. Like I'm halfway around the world and I don't know this?" I am PO'd. I've had enough of this town. I have enough of this ashram. I make arrangements to leave the following evening. The next morning, I come back to have breakfast with my friends in this hotel restaurant. As I'm getting ready to walk into the restaurant, I am physically barred from entering and told that I have to go get this person's permission to go in. Now, time out. You're talking about your former 60s militant type, okay? I know how to yell, scream, cuss, and fuss. Ain't done it in a while, but I still remember how. But I maintain my spiritual equanimity. I go to the lobby. "Madam," she's sitting there behind the desk. "Madam, is there some problem? I'm just having breakfast with my friends. I was just in here yesterday. May I go in?" "No, you wait in the lobby." "Oh, it's on now." "Oh, she done messed with the wrong person. Now I'm getting ready to raise some cane up in here." But in the midst of my getting ready to raise all this ruckus, this voice in my head says, "This is a test. It's easy to love those that love you. The test is to love those that hate you." And I figure this woman qualifies. Now you must understand, love was not uppermost in my mind and things that I wanted to send her. There's a rather hot, fiery place I've heard of I would love to have sent her there. Joyfully use my size 13s to help her get there. I'm thinking love. I was thinking the Fred Sanford kind of love. And then I remembered something that I had read about auras, the energy that surrounds every living thing. And I remember reading that pink was the color that represented divine love. And I thought we definitely needed some divine love up in here. So mentally, I enveloped her in this bubble of pink light, and I started pumping pink at her butt. I mean, I was pumping pink, I pumped pink. I worked up a sweat pumping pink. I sat there for about 5 or 10 minutes pumping pink. Suddenly, the woman comes over to me, totally different demeanor, totally different tone of voice. Are your friends in the restaurant? I'm from Chicago. We be suspicious. I'm like, what's up? Am I getting set up? You know, I'm getting ready to get my back to the wall. I'm going to have to throw down. She says, I said, I don't know. You wouldn't let me go see. She says, oh, well, go. Please go. And she personally escorted me to the restaurant. And as I walked into the restaurant and I looked back at her, smiling sweetly, I realized I had experienced the power of love. Now, that was 1989. 1992, I became a professional storyteller. I went to one of the storytelling meetings that I go to in the LA area, and I told this story. And after the meeting, people were coming up, oh, Michael, that was a wonderful story, that's a great story. And I am someone who is not uncomfortable receiving praise, okay? You may want to remember that for later. This one friend seems to be particularly moved by the story. A few months later, she comes up to me after this meeting and says, Michael, let me tell you what happened. It seems that at her job, her boss was giving her unholy hell each and every day. And this particular day, she was determined she was going to do the pink thing. She was going to send her love. If not love, she would send like. If not like, she wouldn't send those, I want to choke you around your neck thoughts. You do the best you can. So she's been doing that all morning. At lunch, all the employees were sitting together in a little tiny lunchroom. The boss was sitting here talking to someone over there. My friend was sitting next to her talking to someone over there. And suddenly, the boss turned to my friend and started to engage her in pleasant, complimentary conversation. And from that day on, there was no more mess. The power of love. Now, I'm going to fess up. I passed that one particular test. I have flunked quite a few. But it is worth the efforts, and that's the end of that.